So we got two suitcases from Black Voyage, the 28-inch Airtrunk Pro and the 20-inch Aircabin Pro. Here at Nomads Nation, we've been reviewing the world's best EDC and travel gear for almost 8 years. So in this video, I'm gonna show you everything that you need to know about these suitcases. So then you can decide if they're for you or not. We're gonna pack the suitcases out. We're gonna really dive into the whole vacuum system that Black Voyage is bringing to the table. And we're gonna give you our brutally honest, unfiltered, overall pros and cons and scores. And you're gonna wanna stick around to the end of the video, because if you're not quite sold that these are the suitcases for you, we'll make some suitcase alternatives that you might like better. Now, 2 quick notes before we start this review. First of which, if you're thinking about making a purchase, we do recommend doing so with the first link in the description. That link, just make sure that you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. And the second thing is that here at Nomads Nation, we have hundreds of bags and suitcases and products in line to be reviewed. And we do offer a partnership package if companies are interested in it, so they can jump that line. And Black Voyage did pay to jump the line. Having said that though, the payment has no effect whatsoever on our review. You'll see that we're very fair and very balanced. Like I said, just make sure they can get some content out faster. Let's talk about Black Voyage first, the overall gist. So Black Voyage is interesting because they've been coming onto the scene, making a bit of a bang recently by doing both suitcases and also bags. And they're kind of jumping on the vacuum compression trendy train right now, which I will give you my brutally honest thoughts about whether that trendy train is actually legitimate and is providing value, or if it's just a bullshit trend. But I gotta say, out of all the brands that are doing the vacuum compression stuff right now, I think Black Voyage is the one they seem like they're the most focused on actually making a brand. Some of the other brands that are doing this just kind of seem more focused on drop shipping and making a quick buck, but Black Voyage seems like they're trying to really build something for the long term. Let me give you a run through of both these suitcases. Starting with, we'll do the smaller one first. This is the Aircabin Pro. Great for carry-on, potentially. Also could get checked. Depends on your airline and what ticket type you have and where you're flying. So a lot of things to like about this suitcase. It looks sleek, there's no doubt about that. Black Voyage has done a very nice job with the aesthetic of this suitcase. Minimal, sleek branding. On the outside, we've got these 4 pegs, which are great when putting the suitcase on its side. It stops the polycarbonate shell from getting scratched. Top handle has that satisfying lift to it. TSA locks with the zips. And thank God, Black Voyage is using YKK zippers, which at this price point is kind of a non-negotiable as far as I'm concerned. And I love this. I'll be honest, I'm not a luggage wheel expert. I don't know all the luggage wheel brands out there. But one thing I do know is that if your suitcase is using wheels by the brand Hinomoto, the suitcase is gonna glide. It's gonna be like hot knife through butter. It's gonna be like Tara Lipinski at the '96 Olympics throwback. Is it Tara Lipinski? Yeah, I nailed it. Tara Lipinski, 1998 Olympics. That was close. But that's what Hinomoto brings, that Tara Lipinski glide. I've reviewed a lot of suitcases, some with name brand wheels, some without, and the name brand wheels are always better. Hinomoto is its own brand, and then Black Voyage buys the wheels from Hinomoto. So Hinomoto specializes in just making the world's best wheels. And instead of Black Voyage being like, hey, we can cut some costs and buy either the no brand name wheels or make them in-house ourselves, they did the right thing and they outsourced it to the pros. And this results in a gleefully glideful suitcase experience that, was really a joy to use. But they've also done some interesting things that I haven't seen done, where we have these ergonomic handles here. One on either side, advertised for easier lifting. And I think it's, I don't hate it. If you travel enough, you know that sometimes you're just grabbing your suitcase, you're grabbing your bag, and just having an extra leverage point is nice. Especially with the dual, right? Keeping it nice and balanced, easier to throw in the overhead or to take down. I will say that these handles are quite thin, so when this suitcase is fully packed out, you're not gonna have a comfortable carrying experience, right? It's not like these handles that are kind of almost padded and less thin, so it's not cutting into your hand quite as much. But overall, I think it's a nice feature. We've also got a feature that I recently used when I was in Japan, not on this suitcase, I was taking an air suitcase, where we have this lock right here. And this lock actually locks the wheels, which is nice if you're on a train or if you just don't want your suitcase to scurry away from you. See? Nice and secure. It's a little feature that you'll never use 99% of the time, but that 1% of the time that you do, very nice to have. Handle as well seems pretty solid. Nothing exceptional, just kind of your you know, it's a nice luggage handle. Now let's talk about the most controversial part of any suitcase, at least for me when I read the comments, which is gonna be the actual weight and the dimensions. Black Voyage claims this bad boy weighs 8.6 pounds. I'm getting 8.9. And if you heard a loud noise just then, that was a lot of people who were watching this review leaving, because in this day and age, airlines are getting more and more strict, and 8.6 pounds just is not gonna make the cut. For some airlines, that's like 60% or more of your allotted weight. But what you have to understand too is like a lot of people don't have to worry about that. They pay for higher class tickets on airplanes, or they're in countries that don't do that, like the US, usually pretty typically lenient when it comes to the weight of a carry-on. And one check for the dimensions with the wheels, you got about 22 inches height, 13.5 inches width, and a depth of 9 inches. All right, let's talk about Black Voyage's most interesting, unique selling point, which is the vacuum compression. Now, we've done a lot of in-house testing with vacuum compression like this from Black Voyage and from one of their rivals, Airback. And I think that the truth of these is they're sort of in the middle of the road. On the marketing, you'll see like stack of t-shirts this tall, blink, brought down to here, oh my God. It doesn't do that, right? Like you're not gonna compress this much clothes into this, but what you can do is, based on our testing, is definitely decrease your clothing by like 20 to 30%, which is actually quite significant if you think about it. Now, Black Voyage does some things that I think are quite smart. Some of these compression vacuum systems, they're built into the bag, which means if you get a hole in this thing, or it punctures, or it breaks, then your entire suitcase is rendered useless. But Black Voyage said, no siree, we're gonna make these removable. And that was such a gangster move because in the worst case scenario that this does get punctured, it can be replaced. Another interesting and kind of gangster move that Black Voyage did is they sent us this, which is their new air pump. And it's stronger, and it's faster, and it's better, apparently, for scientific reasons. And you can see here's the new one, and here's like your typical air pump. And what's so interesting about this is that there's actually no battery in it. So the con side is that you can't charge it, and it needs to be either plugged into the wall or your phone. But the good side is like, I don't know about you guys, but here in Hong Kong, they just signed a law. I live in Hong Kong, and I'm flying all the time in Asia. And there's just been signed a law that you cannot bring batteries into certain parts of the plane. I think it can't even be checked in anymore. It can't even be in the overhead bin anymore. It has to be in your personal item underneath the seat in front of you. They're really strict about it. So Black Voyage has gotten ahead of the curve there, and they said, cool, no battery in here. Obviously it sucks you gotta plug it in or plug it into your phone, but it actually plugs into the phone very well, quite easily, and works. Slower, but it still works, and you can avoid that whole battery being checked or in the carry-on bin overhead issue that is plaguing some parts of the world. Right now it's in Asia. Let me know, is this happening in other parts of the world though? Is this happening in Europe or the US? Let me know what's going on in your region with batteries and flying. I'm curious. If you've never seen these vacuum sealed bags before, they're kind of annoying because they have to stay vacuum sealed. So these zippers are crazy. Like you think a PU-coated zipper is difficult to open and to close? Like nothing compared to this, but it's gotta stay airtight, right? And you can see right here, that is absolutely airtight. And let's give you a little idea of how well the vacuum compression actually works. Okay, so you can see what I've done is I've now put 14 articles of clothing in here. Shirts, shorts, and a big old hoodie. This is where it would typically be, right? It's not necessarily pushing out, but we're right where the zipper would be in line. Then putting the new pump to the test. Let's see what you got, little guy. Wait, it's the buttons here. It's slow, but steady. We're getting some movement. Now, should be noted, this is being plugged into the phone. If you plug it into the wall, it's probably gonna be a bit faster. You can see we're starting to get a pretty good amount of suction over here. This is now when you get to see the magic happen. Black Voyage, more like black magic. So we're at about 90 seconds. Okay, let's showcase what we got going on here. So you can see this actually really compressed, and I stand by my 20 to 30%. Obviously, it's gonna depend on what clothes that you're packing, how vicious you're being with the actual suction, you know, how you're organizing your clothes actually in the vacuum. But if you see right here, like we have pushed this down significantly. What was pushing out here is now very well compressed. So if you're looking to save 20 to 30% of storage inside your suitcase, the vacuums work. There's just no doubt about it. But theoretically, are we adding more in weight? You know, is it worth the extra weight that you're bringing? I'll be honest, I don't think this makes as much sense when it comes to a backpack. Like with the Airback bags, I respect what they're doing, but for me, like, they're so much heavier. But for a suitcase, if you already know you're gonna check this, or it doesn't really matter what the weight is with the airline or country that you're flying in, then sure, let's vacuum it up, dude. A couple other quick notes on the inside. We've got this compression strap here. Great buckle, by the way. I love this. Is this Woojin? I think this is the new Woojin buckle that Peak Design bags have. I don't see Woojin on here, but love this buckle, adding even more potential compression, bit of organization on this side, and a second vacuum sealed bag in case you need it. But remember too, these can also be removed. Let's talk about the big boy now, which is the trunk. There's got a lot of junk in this trunk, theoretically, because this is 120 liters. And actually, to me, this makes the most sense for the vacuum compression for most travelers. Because if you're traveling with this suitcase internationally, let's be honest, it's not gonna be carried on anytime soon. So you know what's going on with this suitcase. It's always getting checked. And if that's the case, the weight doesn't really matter, and the dimensions don't really matter. So throw on extra vacuum compression. Let's go, baby. Like, now we're rocking and rolling, who cares? And if you're bringing a suitcase, a trunk, a coffin this big, to wherever you're going, like, you're trying to really maximize your space. You're probably staying somewhere for a long time, or like me, you have a wife who likes to bring her entire closet with her, even for a weekend trip. Well, good news, honey. You can fit an extra 20% now. This suitcase is basically this exact same in terms of the handles and the dual side handles. Got the 1, 2, 3, 4 pegs at the bottom. And it just looks sleek. Speaking to my wife, like, she saw these suitcases, she was like, damn, those look nice. And I kind of agree. I mean, and they better, because we haven't even talked about prices for either of these. So the wheel lock version of the carry-on is $380 USD, which is, you know, it's pricey. But the trunk is almost $700 USD. So I think that Black Voyage is kind of going into a little more of like luxury territory here, where the aesthetic of this suitcase is like totally on brand for the couple who's going to stay at a penthouse in Bali for a month. And if they're doing that, they can bring an extra 20 to 30% of clothing with them because of the vacuum compression bags. Speaking of the compression bags, these can be purchased independently from Black Voyage as well. Got a medium size, large size. And this is for you if you kind of want to get into the whole vacuum sealed groove of things, but you don't want to buy one of Black Voyage's actual bags. You can actually buy one of these and put it into your backpack from a different brand. And then it allows you to carry your favorite backpack, but also possibly compress things, because they're basically just compressible packing cubes. I have to admit, I think that the materials are high quality. The build quality is really impressive. And I like that Black Voyage is allowing you to get into their ecosystem without necessarily having to buy one of their backpacks or one of their suitcases. All right, we're gonna wrap this up by talking about the overall pros and cons of just kind of like the Black Voyage system in general. Pro number 1, super sleek look. Pro number 2 is the vacuum sealed bags are removable and replaceable. And pro number 3 is just the entire vacuum sealed system. 20 to 30 extra % packing space for your clothes doesn't suck. And pro number 4, Black Voyage does offer a lifetime guarantee on all of their bags. But on the flip side, let's talk cons. Con number 1, their products aren't cheap. Con number 2 is, you know, the compression vacuum system, is it a little gimmicky? Maybe? Depends what you value and how you pack. And con number 3 for a lot of people outside of the US is the extra weight that you're getting for this entire system and just Black Voyage's suitcases in general. It's not gonna be worth it. They're heavy and you're almost over your restrictions anyway, so why even bother? And just a quick reminder, if you're weighing the pros and the cons yourself and you're thinking about making a purchase, we do recommend doing so with the first link in the description, as those links make sure that you get the best price, and if we have any discount codes, that's what they'll be. But if you're not quite sold, you wanna see what else is on the market, here's a couple of alternatives you might like more. My first alternative recommendation is gonna be the Level 8 Suitcase. Great pick for you if you want something that's got a nice style to it. Level 8 suitcases are really just nice looking and really well designed, but they don't have the vacuum sealed angle, and therefore they're coming in at a lower price point. And honestly, like, I'm kind of blown away. We did this review a few years ago, and like, our community really likes Level 8 suitcases. Our team has traveled with them ourselves. They're really good stuff. And my second alternative suggestion will be the Airback Next Suitcase. Great pick for you if you're really looking for a suitcase that can do vacuum compression, but you just want to see a different brand style. I'll be honest, I think that Black Voyage does it a little bit better, but some people also prefer the Airback way. to each their own. Honestly, all these suitcases have their overall pros and cons, but to learn more about the two alternatives, you can just watch these videos right here. If you got any questions, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. My name is Aaron, this is Nomization, and we'll catch you next time.